Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, transforming the way people think and work so their organizations can thrive. Well, hi everyone, and welcome to our podcast. I'm Ed Kless, and today's episode is cut from another podcast of which I am the co-host, The Soul of Enterprise, which is also sponsored by Sage. The Soul of Enterprise is dedicated to belief that business has a spiritual, though not necessarily religious, component. I hope you enjoy this excerpt. If you do, please visit www.thesoulofenterprise.com for more.
Give us the backstory to the Moscow State University speech. I know you flew over there in advance. I know you saw the setting, the Lenin bust, the mural of the Russian Revolution, and you thought originally we got to get rid of that, but then you changed your mind. What was the backstory to that speech?
Right. Yeah. Well, I went over about what was called the pre-advance, before, anyway, it was around, I guess it was around March. So went to Moscow to scope the whole place out. And Moscow State University is in one of these five massive Stalinist buildings built sort of on the points of the star around, as if they're on the points of a star around Moscow. And I mean, it's really, looking at it, it's really like out of some kind of a science fiction dystopia. So you walk into it and there's this massive lecture hall, and looking at the stage, there's the podium, and behind the podium is this huge mural of the October Revolution with the workers carrying red flags with the hammer and sickle. And then in front of it, this really gigantic bust, there are pictures of it. You can see just the head of Lenin, right? And just sort of scowling down. I mean, they could have made it seem a little bit more friendly, but I mean, scowling down at whomever is standing at the podium, and the way it was lit, and I swear I'm not, it looked like he had horns. So there we are, in hell, right. And the thing was, at that point, and the backstory goes way back, but at that point, Gorbachev was very interested in accommodating Reagan. So he had basically told everybody, do what they want. We want this to be a success. That kind of thing never happened. And it never happened, at least in my experience, where a speechwriter could start telling people, especially the head of Moscow State University, what to do. But they said, well, they were going to do whatever we wanted. So I said, well, the first thing is we've got to cover over that mural. And he was like kind of upset. So we're not going to give a speech in front of, the communist flag. And then he said, then I looked at it and I said, and is that bust movable? I mean, he said, I said, well, like, can you lift it? Is it bolted to the floor or can you lift it out? And he said, no, actually it's on wheels. So I said, well, you got to roll it out. You got to roll it out. And he was almost in tears. I felt a little bad for him, but, it seemed necessary. So he went off to confer with his people about how they were going to do this. And I sat down and looked at it, and I realized, well, the first line of the speech, which actually isn't the first line because they always insist on stuffing in all of the stuff about how great it is to be here and, all of our student exchanges and all. But the first line was, standing before the symbols of your revolution, I want to talk to you about another revolution that's sweeping the globe. I thought, oh, that's it, right? So I quickly found him and I said, it's okay, leave it in place. Because I just could see how effective it would be. Not for anybody else, but for Ronald Reagan, I knew he would pull it off, and of course he did.
Review and subscribe by searching your podcast player of choice for Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.